Hi everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to share today another in the watercolor flower series that I've been working on. Been enjoying these much more than I thought. I'm going to do another with the stencil as the start for the flower. And this is by Colorbox. It's called Bloom. And it's a big one. It's a 6x6, so I'm only going to use a portion of it, but I'm going to paint the whole flower. And I have it traced onto my Canson watercolor cardstock, 140 pound. And you do want some really good cardstock for this, something heavy enough that it'll stand up to having puddles of water on it, because if you use some of that really inexpensive stuff, it might start to, I don't know, bubble up a little bit. So there's some that are much thinner, lighter weight ones, and you want a good 140 pound, 130 pound or something for this. But I'm filling each one of the sections with water, and I'm making sure it's clean water because I don't want to mix any previous colors into the petal. So I have 2 jars of water off to the side. One is for rinsing my brush and the other is for picking up clean water. So that's one of the things I've started doing with all my watercolors, is to make sure that I have some perfectly clear water, I guess, at all times, as well as, you know, my dirty water jar. But I'm just dropping color into the puddle. Super easy to do. So once you get your water in there, just pick some colors to drop in there. I'm going to do from the outside purple and pink, and then the next row of petals will be pink and yellow, and then go to yellow and green, and then green and teal, and just work my way into the center of the flower since it has all these beautiful petals. I wanted something really bright. You could make it look more pastel-y by putting less color and dropping less color into it, but I would test it and see what those colors look like once they're dried, because this does dry back quite a bit by the time it all soaks into the paper and the water's all gone. I'm also, most of these are either right on or inside of my pencil lines, so when I'm all finished and it's all completely dry, I can take a soft kneaded eraser and erase those pencil lines so that they don't show in my finished piece. But you can see how it's developing. I'm letting the shapes be a little on the loose side. I'm not being super tight to the pencil lines that I made, because I want this whole thing to feel really washy. I'm really challenging myself to try to let watercolor be watercolor, because I keep doing this, forcing it to be really tight and perfect like my Copics. And I have another one that I've shot and I just have to get edited that's very tight. So yeah, I go back and forth. I think I'm a Jekyll and Hyde type of crafter, painter, artist, and sometimes I do tight, sometimes I do loose, and I guess whatever I'm thinking in my brain, I want to try to sometimes challenge myself to do the opposite, just to see what it does to my creativity. So now you can see that the left side is starting to dry more, that we started on earlier, and I fast forwarded so you don't have to sit and watch all of these petals. But I'm working more with a number of petals at the same time on the right hand side, just to see if the paint lasts that long or the water lasts that long. And as long as you do 3 or 4 petals, it looks like it does still stay puddled up long enough to work with. So try it on your watercolor cardstock, whatever you're going to use, and see how long that water lasts before you decide if you're going to do multiple petals at once or not. But you can see how the ones on the left, they're drying sharper than what they look like on the right hand side. So wait to see what it dries like before you know what you're going to get. Here's the card that I did. I had some issues with it that I'll talk through. I started with a black mounted layer and it's popped so that my little window shows through, like those stained glass things that I saw when I was in Europe. And I have a strip of watercolor down the side that I did with the same rainbow colors. The sentiment was where I had my issue though, because originally it was going to be white, and then I thought, well, I'll try it in black and I'll try it in all different colors, and then I tried a rainbow one. And the H and the E originally were in the purpley blue colors, and they didn't show up much against that bright flower. So what I did instead was to make it black on the left side so that that would be strong contrast with the flower, and then let the rainbow part be on the right hand side. And then I cheered it all up, since I didn't like the black on the sentiment all that much. I cheered it up with some little Signo pen white dots, and I thought that worked pretty well. So here are 2 more in the watercolor series if you haven't caught up with all of those. And at the end of each one of those are some other ones that are linked to them, and you can always search my blog for Watercolor Flower Series. and find all of them. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a really, really great day. Bye-bye.